It's the final day of our saxophone advent calendar, and there can only be one person left, and that is John William Coltrane. Coltrane was born in Hamlet in North Carolina on September 23rd, 1926. For me, he's everything a musician should seek to be, and his output on the saxophone, particularly kind of from 1957 to 1967 when his untimely death, is just unparalleled, incredible. And as I said in this vlog when I was talking about 50 years since Train died, 50 years later, we're still trying to figure out what he was doing. Just a phenomenal person, a phenomenal saxophone player, a guy who any tenor player, particularly worth their salt, has listened to a lot, will continue to listen to, and will continue to be influenced by for as long as people are playing the saxophone. A little bit like my video with Bird, I'm going to suggest that if you really want to know more about Coltrane, check out this vlog here, which I made on Coltrane's birthday, and I'm going to have to talk a little bit more because YouTube won't let me stick two cards too close together. And then the one I made about the Coltrane film, which I might try and put in here without YouTube moaning at me. If not, just search for them. If you search Dan Forshaw Coltrane, there's loads and loads of stuff. I studied Coltrane. Coltrane for me has a very, very special place in my life. Let's go back. Ray Wilkes was always talking to me about how wonderful John Coltrane was, and how, I remember on his 80th birthday, which was a bit later in this journey chronologically, we did a gig. And I asked Ray who his favourite ever saxophone player was, and it was Coltrane. And what Ray said, he never played anything wrong. And at the time I thought, oh yeah, that's a good sentiment. But actually, I wonder if he didn't. I wonder if you take the sentiment that what music is trying to do, you know, Coltrane's goal as a musician was to speak truth, was to, as he said, give the listener an impression of the world as he sees it, to try and spread peace and a love supreme. And they're very, very lofty goals. And I don't mean to deviate from what I said. Sorry, my emails are all flying in now. I don't mean to deviate from what I said about how the media can hype up Coltrane as this theological figure or this mythical figure. People have created, of course, the Church of John Coltrane. There's a lot of wishful thinking sometimes about Train, but there's no doubt that he was aspiring to do something which is so laudable as a musician, and something I try very, very badly to imitate, but certainly will try and always keep to that kind of idea that music can bring about good. So my journey with Coltrane started with purchasing my first ever jazz CD, which was Blue Train. If I could have worn the CD out, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I've still got the CD around somewhere. I remember picking it up for really cheaply in a HMV store in Coventry when I was on tour. And I think I bought 4 or 5 copies and gifted them to people because I was just like, look, this is just amazing. And for 3 or 4 quid, if I can give you this gift, it's fantastic. As I explained a while back, I've now got it on vinyl. I'm going to give it a spin in a moment. Then Ashley Carn's book came out, I Love Supreme. Now, I'd heard the album before, but I'd never really got it. I read Ashley's book cover to cover 3 times. I got hold of Lewis Porter's biography of Coltrane. I then went off to theological college. I studied theology with John Coltrane. I did theology and music, and my thesis was on Coltrane's Love Supreme. The great thing was in my course, I didn't have to write too much. I performed the suite, which I'll play a little bit of you now. the interest continued from there. I did, when I got my job in Cambridge, we did the first Jazz Vespers in May 2012, I think it was, or 2012, and we played the whole of the Love Supreme suite. I remember, and this sounds daft, but I just remember that it was May, it was springtime, and obviously it was a small Anglican church. The west door, the sun was just coming through the west window right as we were playing Psalm. It was just a really incredible experience, like having this massive spotlight on me as I was playing Psalm. It was really, really great. I've had this continued willingness to try and express my own spirituality through the music of John Coltrane. I just think there's so much there, even within the more avant-garde stuff, you know, with my album Fruits.
As a jazz musician, I'm required to improvise, to create music that is in the moment.
And I could trace all that back to Coltrane. And that's for me why he makes Day 24, why for me he will continue to be an incredibly important influence in not just my music but my life. But I'll go back to what I said in that vlog about the Coltrane film, my review about the Coltrane film. Coltrane was just a man, and as I said in there, when I met Ravi and had a beer with Ravi, it really struck home to me that that guy, John Coltrane, was Ravi's father, and you know, he achieved all that as just a man, and that makes it even more remarkable. So hats off to Coltrane. Enjoy the playlist. I've given you now over 24 hours of music to listen to. You can either please go back and listen to it over the next year. If you're a student of mine at Cambridge Saxophone, we're going to be spending time in 2018 focusing on maybe 6, 7 of these players in this list, learning from them, transcribing little bits of them, really intensely listening to maybe 2 or 3 tracks upon those playlists. So, you know, you can get ahead of the game and start listening now. It's been a lot of work. There have been days, I mean, I've only missed 1 upload, but there have been days when it's been like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get this vlog done and everything else I've got to do on that day, including today, which I've got a little bit of video editing to do. How am I going to get all that done? But I did, and that's the important thing. So thank you so much for sticking with me. Welcome if you're a new subscriber. Enjoy your Christmas. I'm going to enjoy some Coltrane. Merry Christmas, everybody!